Hi, thank you for clicking on the video, and I hope everyone is doing really well. So originally I was going to do a revisiting my favorite fat acceptance activists, starting with Virgie Tovar. So I was scrolling through Instagram, her Instagram in particular, and one of her posts referenced an article. It touches on a subject that I have been thinking about lately, and that is eating disorders and children, eating disorders and teen, preteen development, that kind of stuff. So this article is from March 12th of this year. It is from today.com, found in the parents section. The body positive movement for children and how to teach it. When I was Googling to find this, I did find an article on an eating disorder website. I have been noticing that eating disorder recovery websites, they have been jumping on the body positivity movement bandwagon, but some of them are gearing towards that like fat acceptance, which is an eating disorder, and you're supposed to be teaching recovery from eating disorders. What are you doing? I used to look up to some of these websites for recovery advice and support, and now they are supporting the notion to keep your eating disorder, apparently. If there's time, I will go check out that article on that recovery site.
The body positive movement for children and how to teach it. It's all too common for children to diet, binge eat, and struggle with fears of getting fat. Here's how to change it.
It's really sad that children like as young as like 6, 7, 8 years old are already indoctrinated into the idea of dieting. They know what dieting is. And I can relate because when I was like 3, I knew exactly what dieting was. I didn't know the terminology of like caloric deficit or, cutting your calories, counting calories. Those were not concepts that I understood. What I did know is food equals getting fat. I knew that at such a young age, and it's really sad that more and more children, that information is being instilled in them.
As parents become more aware of the importance of a positive body image, many moms and dads are wondering how to teach body positivity to their children. It's a subject that matters deeply to Katie Crenshaw, co-author of Body Positive children's book, Her Body Can. Crenshaw was in the 6th grade the first time she began restricting her diet in an effort to be smaller. Oh my gosh, me too! While I was always genetically thin/standard size, even as a child, I knew how larger bodies were viewed and judged in society, by boys at school, and by my family. I'd do anything to not be that. Bigger kids were excluded, pitied, and bullied. Crenshaw recalls spending hours on pro-Ana websites and printing out thinspo photos of other girls with protruding rib cages to study when she wanted food. She saved tips on how to stay alive while starving and how to burn the most calories in 24 hours. There were months where I never ate more than 300 calories per day as a child. It took years of recovering and undoing a narrative created by society. I am now extremely conscious of how I talk about food and activity in front of my kids, and I don't ever comment on anyone else's appearance. They're listening and it matters.
I just read a whole lot. Let's unpack it. It's really sad that a lot of children and teens they kind of have the genetics to be like smaller. They tend to be the ones to kind of develop eating disorders. I mean, anyone is susceptible to it, but I feel like there's an extra amount of pressure on them to stay thin so that it pushes them to an extreme to meet that criteria that's put in front of them. She talks about a narrative created by society. I am of the belief that we create the narrative, society doesn't. There are factors in place because of society, but it's how we translate those factors into our own lives. You're pointing the finger outside of yourself and saying, society created this narrative and I was just following it. No, you're your own person. That's not a reason. That might explain why you act a certain way because society dictates it. But at the end of the day, it's your choice. We're pointing at society and blaming society and saying it's all your fault when no one truly forced you to starve yourself and eat 300 calories a day. No one did that other than you. And so this lacks taking responsibility. I think it's really important to take responsibility for your actions. And sometimes your actions are against yourself and you need to learn to hone that responsibility and apologize to yourself and forgive yourself. You know, sometimes the wrongdoing is against you. Next thing, if I ever were to have children, I do have a fear of passing on my eating disorder onto my children, because mental illness can be passed down, but you have the power to stop it and say it ends with me, and I will not pass it on. And that is what I'm trying to do by recovering, by developing a healthy relationship with food, with eating, with myself, and with others. If I were to have children, that they don't have to suffer with what I've suffered with, that they don't get brainwashed into believing the horrible things that I believed, and that they can love themselves, not have to learn to love themselves after going through self-hatred. That is what I'm trying to avoid. So when she's talking about how she's extra conscious of how she speaks in front of her kids, and like teaching not to comment on a person's appearance, I think that's a good starting place. If there is no commenting on a person's appearance, that should be a neutral area. So there shouldn't be a praising of certain bodies and a pity for other bodies. That is very prevalent in our society and in fat acceptance, body positivity, health at every size. And that's really dangerous, because you're still saying one body is better than another. You lead by example when kids are involved. They are a sponge. They're going to soak up what they see. They're going to imitate what they hear and see. So you have to be the example as the parent, and as an adult who might be around kids, you need to set the example. One 5-year-old should not tell another 5-year-old she's eating too much. That one child who said it probably heard it at home and now is implementing that onto another child. And that's even worse, because it's peers. You soak up what your parents say and do. You soak up what adults in your life say and do. You then repeat the negativity that you hear from those adults to a child who is the same age as you, who is your friend. That's on a peer level. That sinks in even deeper.
Crenshaw's story is not uncommon. Registered dietitian nutritionist Chelsea Edwards, who specializes in working with parents to foster positive relationships with food and body image in their children, said kids often feel the pressure to conform to the body ideals they see perpetuated all around them. Eating disorders have been seen in kids as young as 5, with 81% of 10-year-olds admitting to dieting, binge eating, or fear of getting fat. Kids often feel the pressure to conform to the body ideals our society has set up, which can result in disordered eating and exercise patterns.
I was raised in an environment where smallness, thinness was praised. The adults in my life did not work through their own issues when it came to food and body image. Maybe their parents or some adult in their childhood didn't work through their issues, and so they perpetuated this idea onto the adults in my life. Those adults then perpetuated the same idea onto me, and that developed into my eating disorder, and that developed into my bad body image view of myself. Maybe society plays a small role in implementing like ideals. We can't really say that anymore, because look around us. Everyone is aware that everyone is different body shape. Everyone can see that like fat bodies exist. This does not apply anymore. We accept that fatness is a thing. We accept that there are fat people. A lot of people are posing the question, how can you look at that and say it's healthy? How can you truly be happy and healthy within a sick body? If you are morbidly obese, your organs are dying. You are physiologically dying. You are biologically and anatomically dying. That's not healthy. And so where was I going with this? I don't know.
Edwards told Today parents that making a conscious effort to promote body positivity in children is important for a healthy body image long term. Finding media that incorporates body diversity can make kids feel more included and expose them to a variety of bodies where people of all shapes and colors and abilities are portrayed in a positive light. Parents can work to provide compliments based on efforts rather than appearance. Verito Bar, author of the award-winning You Have the Right to Remain Fat, also recognizes the importance of inclusivity in the digital world. She began the social campaign Lose Hate, Not Weight, a body positivity movement that has engaged more than 100,000 contributors and encourages diversity and self-love.
They use certain words to drive a narrative of this is such a good thing. The word positivity, good. Diversity, good. Self-love, good. Healthy body image, good. But what's at the root?
When we teach children that all bodies are good bodies, we help to guard them against disordered eating and body dysmorphia throughout their lifetimes. The current cultural reoccupation with weight doesn't actually lead to better health practices or mental health. Food restriction and weight control methods tend to be correlated with anxiety, depression, and higher rates of body dissatisfaction. Teaching kids body positivity interrupts this harmful cycle.
It does interrupt that harmful cycle, but it creates new harmful cycles.
Tovar, who hosted a TEDx talk on the origins of her social campaign, encourages parents to promote body positivity in simple ways each day. Parents can model moving and eating for the sake of pleasure and fun. It's important to decouple weight from health. Teaching kids that health isn't about being a low weight helps set kids up for a life free from the danger and unpleasance of weight cycling. Further, it teaches them to see all people's bodies as equally worthy of respect, care, and dignity.
A person's worth is not based within their weight. It is not based within their body shape. Respect, care, and dignity, those are not things that are gauged based on how you look. However, if you do not treat yourself with high levels of self-worth, dignity, respect, and care, it's shown through your physical appearance. People are turned off by others who do not take care of themselves. You can have healthy habits and behaviors and patterns and sit at a higher, using the word liberally, higher body weight. She's morbidly obese. That's not healthy. Okay, she's severely overweight. I'm not saying this to be rude or judgmental. I have eyes. I can see. She is not at a healthy weight. That body is not the result of healthy behaviors and patterns and healthy eating habits. That's the result of negligence. Because this video is going to be way too long if I do anything else, I'm just going to end with this. The words body positivity, it sounds good. And the intention behind it, I believe, is good. However, underneath the surface, this is a movement. It is like under construction. It is a product that should not have been released to the public for the viewing pleasure of the public, because it is not thought through. There's still a lot of holes to it. It says that whether you should be respected or not, care, dignity, those things are not based in body image. Yet what does the title say? Body positivity, body image acceptance, like body. Like that word has no meaning anymore. Your worth is not set in your body. It is not in how you look. A more accurate and more compelling movement would be self-positivity. To separate yourself completely from your body and say, I am more than how I physically look, which is what the body positivity movement is trying to say. It's trying to create healthy body image in children, which is great, but you're still focusing on image. Physical appearance. I am proposing that maybe if we want to have society not focus so much on physical appearance, a movement needs to be first and foremost named that, because the emphasis is still on physical appearance. This whole idea is still based on physical appearance. It needs to go to the inner layers of a human. We are human. We deserve dignity. We deserve respect. We deserve care. We deserve worth. We deserve to be treated as such because we're human. It just requires a shift in how we communicate this kind of positivity. It's about self-acceptance, not fat acceptance, self-acceptance. Accept who you are, but you are not your body. You are not your body image. You are more than that. If your identity is based solely or mostly on your body image, then you are not separating your worth from your body. You are saying that is who you are, and that is not true. You're in here, and you just happen to be living in here. Does that make sense? This was a super unplanned video, so I am sorry that if it made zero sense or it just was talking in circles or just going on weird tangents. I'm sorry. First time reading that article, the gears are turning in my brain. What I'm going to do is I'm going to think more on this subject and make some notes and maybe put together a more concise video so we can talk about it further. If you have any thoughts on body positivity, Virgi Tovar, anything at all, any comments, questions, video suggestions, feel free to leave that in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you did not and you're like, this girl makes 0 sense, you can give it a thumbs down. That's cool. Or if you think it's cool I make 0 sense, thumbs up. Choice is yours. If you are not subscribed already, please consider subscribing and be sure to hit the little bell button so you are notified every time I upload. Be sure to follow me on Instagram to stay updated on all future videos and what I eat in a day. And I will see you next time. Bye!